Okay.
Modify your second, or you want me to second?
I'll modify it.
We're going to find ourselves in the same morass that we've been in all through this year. That we offered $5,000 and then we talked about it off and on across the whole year before we finally made a decision at the end of the year. I really found it uncomfortable to do it that way. I think that it wasn't particularly fair to the organization that was looking forward to the money because they're expecting it and budgeting on it. I also don't think it's fair for us to commit the next council to make that donation, particularly since I think that there are some very big questions regarding the future nature of both the corporation and the relationship between the township and the corporate, well, they can deal with that themselves, between the borough and the corporation. I think that we have been saying for 2 years that we need to talk about this, and we've yet to do that. So I think we need to be careful how we put this in the budget, because we're going to end up in the same situation here about, well, did they meet the criteria? Didn't they meet the criteria? Did we get the paper? Didn't we get the paper? I think that the issue is much bigger than that. The issue is, what is our relationship with this group? How is it going to go forward? How does the borough want to participate in funding these activities? And those really need to be answered. And I think they need to be answered by the next council.
But you could say that about the entire budget.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah, you're-
I don't think so.
Sure.
I mean, there are a couple items that got put in the budget saying, well, let's put them in there because we may want to do this. But in fact, we said we want a police department. This is how many people are going to be in it, and this is what we're going to pay them. There's no question about that. There are other things that are in the budget. We know we need to fix this road or that road. We are behind the decision to put this much money aside to fix a road. We're behind this much money because we know we need to repair the police station. We know we need to put this much money aside because we want to buy a new police car. By putting that money in there, we're saying we intend to spend it. So I think
I
that
don't
if
agree
we're
with that.
putting criteria on this donation, I don't want to go through another year the way we went through this year on this particular issue. How we decide to go about that, I don't know.
What I think the contingency is stating is that we want to continue the dialogue to see if we can make it work. So that's,
And if we can make it work,
then we're
we're
going
going
to
to make a contribution.
make a contribution.
I think it'd be incumbent upon new council to figure out a way in conjunction with the corporation and the township to see if we can continue to make it work. If in the first quarter we make a determination we can't make it work, we'll give them an answer. But I think we should make a commitment to ourselves that we've got to do it in the first quarter, and if we can't do it, if we're going to do it, we got to do it in the first quarter.
Bob, I want to pick up on what you just said. What you just said is correct, and that is it's about leaving open the option for making it work. That's what is being said. What's also being said by that is that this council tonight is not taking the step that Julia alluded to a moment ago of going to a new relationship with the corporation that is not financially supported by the borough and which may have a different structure. In other words, it would be independent.
Right.
And my prior comments, including those at work session, have included my own evolution along those lines. And in fact, we had the independents proposed to us earlier last year, and at that time I was actually resistant to the idea. I've come around to believing I think maybe it's the time to do it, in which case a $5,000 contribution is not in the cards for next year. Having said that, I return to the theme of my earlier comments about the cameras, and that is, listening to the discussion here, perhaps we should leave it to the council in January going forward. If we don't put the money in, they're not going to have the option. If we put the money in, they have the option with the contingency or condition that Gerard's spoken to. So with that, I was inclined, frankly, to not vote to have the money in the budget for next year for that very reason, that independent time has been reached. But mindful of a new council coming in and those ways of thinking, perhaps we should leave it for January, put it in now, but make very clear that by no means does that decide the matter of whether or not the donation will actually be paid.
Okay, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 5-1.